So with regard to COVID and the origin of it and the role that may have happened in the lab and the markets nearby, stunning piece that lays out a lot of this in Politico and what was known back in 2018. The thing that really jumped out at me are these experiments that were being done there on the ACE2 receptor, the cell receptor that allows coronaviruses to infect human lungs. U.S. officials came to believe that this Beijing lab was likely conducting coronavirus experiments on mice fitted with ACE2 receptors well before the coronavirus outbreak, research that hadn't disclosed and continued not to admit to. Were you aware of those findings back in 2018?
So I want to be a little careful about some of the things that remain classified, but suffice it to say, we have long had concerns about what was taking place in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and we have had even deeper concerns about the broader bio efforts, the biochem efforts that the Chinese Communist Party was engaged in, and the practices that they were using in their labs, which we knew didn't rise to the level of safety and security that the United States and indeed the world should demand. We tried to, for an awfully long time, work inside the World Health Organization to confront that, but as the world can now see clearly, that had become a political organization and not a scientific one, and the Chinese Communist Party had come to dominate it as well. That is the organization responsible for ensuring that this activity takes place in appropriate ways. So yes, there was a great deal of knowledge about how the Chinese Communist Party was working on programs just like the ones you described.
So it says that diplomats wrote 2 cables to Washington reporting on their visits to the Wuhan lab and that it needed more safety standards. They said they urged Washington to get on it. They warned about what was going on in the lab. Just a final thought on that, if you could, Secretary Pompeo, on why that wasn't acted on. Did you just go through the WHO, and do you regret that?
No, we were working both through the World Health Organization, through other allies and partners, and directly trying to convince the Chinese Communist Party to allow Western access to these labs and indeed to allow us to continue to build out on their safety programs. At every turn, we were confronted, rebuffed by the Chinese Communist Party.